Dear students, Jai Hind, very good morning. In chapter number 12, we are continuing the topic of graph. In our previous two lectures, that is in my lecture number 2 and lecture number 3, you are already given complete idea regarding how to draw graph. As you know, in our lecture number 2, I have taken two explanation of two graphs which both were linear polynomial type graph, where you have drawn already a simple straight line graph. In our lecture number 3, I have explained you how to draw the graph of rectangle. That means if you can remember, that was the graph of area of rectangle versus breadth. When length was given, you may come across, when you do homework, you may come across a graph of area of rectangle versus length when breadth is given. You may come across graph of find a graph of length versus breadth when area and breadth are given. Anyway, they can do any modification in giving you the questions regarding the graph. Okay. Now, dear student, as we continue the topic of making graph, understood, as I have already given you idea in yesterday's in our lecture number 3 regarding scale factor, which is very important for you to understand and master that basics of how to take scales, because many examples you may come across where you need to take scale in proper way. Understood, right? So, dear student, as we promised in our lecture number 3, in today's lecture, few more graphs for practice. Okay, so as you all know, today you are attending in chapter number 12. Chapter number 12, as you all know, introduction. Okay, introduction to graphs. And today, few more different types of questions we are going to practice in today's lecture number 4. Okay, few more graphs which you need to understand, and in this graph there may happen that you have to utilize more and more scale factors. Okay, that is very important. Utilization of scale factor. Let me write question for you. Okay, this is the question. Okay, let me draw the graph of. Okay, let me write this way. Concentrate here now. What is the question? Draw the graph of draw the graph of simple interest. Draw the graph of, please note down the question with me. Draw the graph of simple interest on, note down the question, on rupees 1000 at. Draw the graph of simple interest on rupees 1000 at the rate of at the rate of 2% per annum. This is the simple question, dear student. This is the question. Nothing more has been given. First, you just read out the question which has been given here. What is the question? Draw the graph of simple interest on rupees 1000 at the rate of 2% per annum. Understand? Now, dear student, the first basic question for you, that which two variable quantity you have to suppose. Always, as you know, you require two variable quantity, one x, one y. X we always take as independent variable, y we always take as dependent variable. So here in this particular question, what should be taken as x? What should be taken as y? Now you all know simple interest is to be counted on 1000. So 1000 will be principal for us. Rate of interest is 2%. So when you are going to count the simple interest, these two parameters are not going to change. Neither principal nor rate of interest. So what is going to change? Simple interest and number of years, as you all know. So two physical quantities which you need to suppose here in making a particular equation are one, that is simple interest, and one, that is number of year. You all know simple interest is dependent on number of year. There will be no change in principal and rate of interest for any number of year you take, because it is not the question of compound interest. Okay. Now, dear student, how we are moving in this? See, just try to understand first what I am writing here. Let principal has been given. What is the principal given? 1000 rupees. Okay. What is the rate of interest given? 2 percentage. Okay. Simple interest I am going to suppose as y. Y means simple interest. Okay. Y means simple interest. N, dear student. N equal to, N means you all know number of year. I may suppose it as X. N equal to X equal to number of years. Okay. P, that's principal, already given 1,000 rupees. R, that is 2%. We will suppose simple interest as Y and number of year as X. Actually, for number of year, in the basic formula, the symbol is either N or T, but we will take it as X. Now, dear student, what is the formula for simple interest? You all know. For simple interest, generally we take the symbol I, but here we will take I. First, let me write the basic formula. What is that? I equals to PRN upon 100. That's the basic formula for finding simple interest. In place of I, let me put this symbol Y equal to. In place of P, I know 1,000. In place of R, I know 2%. In place of N, I will suppose X upon 100. Okay? You understood this? We have taken the basic formula and we substituted all value. This is the basic formula of simple interest. But instead of I will write Y, N, X, R and P already been given. Now a simple cancellation. Okay. So you got the basic equation as 10 2 jar 20x. This is the basic equation. Okay. So after getting this particular basic equation, as you all know, we got it. Now it's a question of making the observation table. And dear student, remember one thing. uh, when I prepare the observation table, I will prepare here inside, okay? And then I will erase the data written here so that it will comfort me more to write some big letters in drawing the graph, okay? So the simply I just make the value table here. Minimum 5 values that you all know. 5 values becomes compulsory for you to take. Okay, right? 5 values minimum you need to take. Make table with me. Okay, this is X and this is Y. And you all know X means number of year. Y means simple interest. Suppose in X I write 1, I write 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. You cannot take any negative values because these are practical examples. Okay. See, dear student, when x equal to 1, if you place 1 here, what will be y? 20 into 1, that is 20. If you place 2, 22 ja 40. Place 3, 23 ja 60. place 4, 24 ja 80, place 5, 25 ja 100. So, dear student, the value table has already been prepared. Now I am going to erase this basics data from here, okay, to draw the graph more properly. Okay. So this is the way value table needs to be prepared in dealing with the examples of simple interest. Okay. Now let us draw the graph for this. Okay. Now see. And as you all know, this will be my graph paper. And as you can remember in lecture number 3, we are interested just in the first quadrant. So you do not need to worry about the rest of the quadrant. So just leaving one box. Understand, you have to draw line here, that is for y axis. Okay, this is y axis for us, this is y axis. Okay, please draw with me y axis. You must, if you consider graph, leave one box and then you start. Similarly, from the bottom also. Okay, x axis, right? X axis, this way y and x axis both. Okay. Now, dear student, after drawing y and x axis, let me name this. This is x dash. This is origin. This is y. This is y dash. Now, because you can observe that as far as the value of x is concerned, they are simple integral values 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Does not require any scale to be applied on the x axis, or simply just box to box you take 1. As usual, you are taking 2, 3, 4, 5. Whatever boxes are available, you can take it. Okay, 8. But dear student, as far as the values of y are concerned, you have to take some scale, because all are actually multiplier of 20. Okay. So we would like to take some scale on y axis. I am taking per centimeter scale of 10. Okay, so this is 10, means per centimeter 10, then 20. Okay, then 30. Please understand this. 40. Per centimeter we have taken a scale of 10. Okay, then 50, then 60, then 70, 80, 90, 100. If box available, 110. Okay, you can write up to the end, no problem at all. 110, 120. I have this many box as per my estimation. Okay, now After drawing this, let us mark out the points. The first pair, x1 y20, x1 y20, the first pair, x2 y40, the second pair. Okay, no need for drawing the dotted line. If you feel comfort this way, 360. Okay, one dotted line, 480. Okay, 480, right, and 500. Okay, 5 to 100. You got the 5 points already, right? 5 points you got. And now, dear student, after getting these 5 points, a simple graph passing through all these points. Okay, I may have to just check whether in line, because that is what we arbitrary we are just making the graph. Okay, so there may be some in you already doing in graph, so no problem, which we are facing you may be facing. Okay, so just extend it, not only up to this, but you also have to extend it up to the origin. So this is the graph. Understand? All points needs to be in the straight line. Okay? Now, dear student, after drawing the graph, what you need to do in this green little part left for you, what you have represented here, number of years. So you have to write this way, number of years, aligning with the x-axis, and what you have represented here. So that is simple interest. You can write this way, simple, okay, interest. This is sufficient. You need to put the arrow in this way so that it looks far better. Simple interest and number of year. And mind one very important thing to mention in the graph. No doubt not beyond the green section, but scale factor. No scale has been taken on x-axis, but on y-axis you need to mention you have taken 1 centimeter equal to 10 units. Understood? This is the way. The graph of simple interest can be easily calculated. Just you have a look at the graph. Understand? You need to be very conscious that your graph is turning to be a straight line and needs to be extended up to the origin. Understand? And as you know, no doubt it's a straight line graph, but constant, a slopy graph, which indicates that x increases, y also increases. Understood? Just have a look at this. Right, this is the way you can do the graph of simple interest. Because no scale has been taken on x-axis, my personal suggestion is that you do not need to mention any scale on x-axis. Remember. Okay, so dear student, this way the graph of interest we have taken. Now let us take one another graph of little different type. Okay, let us take it. First, you just draw it, right? And then we move for another graph. Whenever you come across such situation to draw the graph of simple interest, you need to make the equation that we have made first. Equation needs to be made, right? Okay, let us go for another question, right? This is the graph of simple interest where two variable quantity which needs to be supposed are one that simple interest and another that is number of years. Okay, every time, dear student, whenever you come across any question, you need to understand which two physical quantities needs to be taken, one as y and one as x. Okay, now the next question. See, what is the question? Question number 2 we take. Okay. Question number 2. We want to take one another question. And this is the question. Let me write the question for you. Okay. This is the question. A vehicle, note down the question. A vehicle is traveling. A vehicle is traveling at a uniform speed of uniform speed of 20 meter per second. Note down the question. A vehicle is traveling at a uniform speed of 20 meter per second. Draw the graph of draw the graph of distance. Draw the graph of distance traveled versus time. Okay, distance traveled versus time. See, dear student, the first, the question of forming the basic equation. Here you are already extremely clear about two physical quantity which needs to be supposed. One is distance traveled and one is time taken. Obviously, the distance traveled we will take it as dependent variable and time as independent variable because the speed remains uniform, that is 20 meter per second. Okay, so how can we move in this? See, dear student, let distance let this will you should write first, okay? Let y equal to distance traveled, okay? Y equal to distance traveled, x equal to time, okay? Speed has already been given. What is the speed given? 20 meter per second. So, dear student, to make the basic equation for particularly making the observation table, we have to utilize first initially the formula for speed. What is the formula for speed? Speed equal to, as you know, distance upon time. Okay. Here I want to make a little change, dear student. You please make a little change too, because I want to make you more sure about the scale factor. Write 40 here. Speed equal to distance upon time. Let me write the value of speed, that is 40. Distance, that is supposed y. Time, that is x. Cross multiply. You got the equation y equal to 40x. Just a simple cross multiplication, and you got y equal to 40x. Now, as you know, dear student, just a question of making the observation table, okay? Observation table for us. In the observation table, as you all know, the minimal 5 values, that's the limit. Minimal 5, more than 5 you can take, but never less than 5, okay? X and y. X, that is time, as usual, dear student. 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, 4 second and 5 second. And as you know, how to find the value of y? Just placing value of x here one by one. You take x equal to 1, 40 1 ja 40. Then you take value of x as 2, 42 ja 80. 3, 43 ja 120. 4, 44 ja 116 and 5, that is 200. So first, dear student, before I erase this particular data and draw the graph, you please see the basics which you require. Just verify the basics which is necessary for drawing this particular type of graph. Like in simple interest also we were able to make the graph. So in the same way, in such type of question also, you need to prepare the basic equation by utilizing formula of speed, that is distance upon time. Okay? And after you make the basic equation, it's very simple to take reference values of x and y together. Okay? Now let us go for the graph. But before the graph, I need to erase this data. Okay? we already have the value table ready where x represents time in second and y represents distance in meter. Okay. Now, dear student, question of drawing the graph. Okay, just in first quadrant only. So simply by leaving one box, as you all know, first that is y-axis. Okay, draw with me y-axis. Okay, y dash, then x-axis. Okay, x-axis, okay, x-axis, and y-axis. As you know, on x-axis there is no question of taking any scale. So just write 1, 2, 3, okay, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever boxes. Now, dear student, be very conscious. As far as y-axis is concerned, you just verify maximum value is 200. So as you know, we have taken in the previous example the scale of 1 centimeter equal to 10. Now I am going to take a little bigger scale. I will take 1 centimeter equal to 20. Okay. So first this is 20. Second 40. Then 60. Okay. We have taken scale of 1 centimeter equal to 20. Here 100. Then 120. Okay. 140. 160. 180. 200. 220. 240 up to the end, and this is origin. Now it's a simple question of marking the value. First pair 140, second pair 280, third pair 3 120, fourth pair 4 160. Okay, fifth 200. Five values we got. And now a simple straight line graph passing through all the points. Okay, this way. There may be a little demarcation, okay, because we do not uh, have the particular graph paper like you have. That's why. But you will get exactly the graph where all the line is going to pass through all the points. Okay. This is the way the graph has been prepared. It is also a slopy looking simple straight line graph. Okay. And now what you need to mention is that on the x axis you haven't taken any scale, but you need to mention what you have represented on x axis. So I would like to write this way: time, obviously in second, that is represented here on x axis, and on y axis, dear student, this way also you can write. Understood? On y axis you have represented what? The distance, obviously in meter. This way also you can write. Looks better, no problem at all. Distance versus time. And as I told you, understand, scale factor is very important aspect to note down. Somewhere in textbook they have given this way also. On x axis 1 centimeter equal to 1 unit, because no scale has been particularly applied on x axis. You can write this way. And on y axis 1 centimeter, what scale we have adopted? 20 units. Okay. So this way you can also draw the graph. Understand? Just look at this. This is the graph of distance versus time. Understood? Distance versus time graph. How to make the equation for this, that you have all understood it properly, right? Just have a look at the graph, feel comfort and note down each and every. Your graph needs to be a slopy straight line graph, because there is direct variation between distance and time. Time increases, distance increases. So you will get this way, not zigzag, but a constant straight slopy line graph. Understood? Just verify this. Okay. As far as various types of graphs needs to be practiced, we have taken almost all types of graph. Understand? We have taken graph of simple linear equation, then we have taken the graph of rectangle, Then we have taken the graph of square, where you produce the graph of area of square versus the length of the side. Then we also practice today two types of graph. One graph that is regarding graph of simple interest versus number of year, and then the graph of distance versus time. Okay, so dear student, what is very important for you to understand in this particular chapter is the basics of making the equation. Not only the basics of making the equation, but at the same time, after making the equation, making a proper observation means value table and then representing it on the graph. That's very important for you. Understood? And as I told you, intentionally I changed the speed as 40 meters per second to just give you a glimpse of how to change the scale. Initially, we have taken in first one 1 centimeter equal to 10. Here we have taken 20. So each box is of 20, 20, 40, 60. That way you need to understand. And I don't think you will have any complication in taking how many line equal to 1. Just divide 10, understand, by 20, 1 upon 2. So every one line will constitute 2 here, that you will understand. Okay. Scale factor is very, very important to understand in drawing the graph, right? So dear student, the topic of graph, still we have left some of the graphs, understand, which are little different type, that we are also going to practice in next lecture. Understand? Now dear student, one more thing. After we complete graph, there are few questions in your textbook regarding reading the graph. We are just looking forward to that, but we will see if just that reading of graph topic, because there the graph will be given to you. We are thinking how we will manage this on the board. Let us see that. But till now, the topic of graph will continue, still few more examples in the next lecture. Okay, thank you very much.